So our harvest this year has been pretty big in most aspects. Our onions didn't do so well because of how wet it was. Garlic we got out of the ground before all the rains came, but I thought I'd give you a tour of our cellar. So these are all filled with flour, and we have some beans, and these are from a year or two before, but we'll be adding a lot more bottles because we planted beans this year. And these pieces of wood here are the ones that we lay down to make the chute for when we throw the white beets down. So, coming into the cellar, we have our last of our carrots there hanging. They don't do so well down here. It's not got good ventilation. Mark put in this fan here, but it's not enough. There's no intake, that's the outtake. So some things down here don't do well, like the carrots. So we'll be bringing them up and cleaning them, cutting them or shredding them and freezing them. But for now, they're hanging there. We did have the red beets here, but our white beet harvest is so much bigger. So to kind of give you an idea, let me kind of set this down here. Okay, this is what we're looking at here, about half of our first field. And usually we put the beets here and they kind of go up just to underneath the onions. Well, this year I think it's going to be much bigger. And Mark bought some wood, and I just cut the wood to fit down here to be able to take that all the way up. But today I took out this middle wall here and opened it up, so we're going to fill this up as well, all the way to the top here. And so this is probably, I don't know, just under 5 feet maybe. So we're going to have 5 feet depth there. And if you look at these beets, these are only the bigger ones. So you've got the ones like this that are almost as big as my head, you know, this one over here. And the smaller ones that fit in the palm of our hand, like a baseball or smaller, we're just taking straight over to the animal kitchen because there's no way we could store all those here as well. So on the other wall, kind of down here at the end of the stairs, these are the boards for the next two sections in here. Let me go around this post. So in this first section is our eating potatoes, and this came out of our home garden, and we did our 1/3 of the big garden, our big field yesterday. We have to let the potatoes cure for 2 to 3 days, and then we sort them and bring them down. So these will be the eating potatoes, and again it'll go up to, this one is probably more like 5'2". And then we've got the shelf above that Steve built when he was here this past week, and we've got a bunch of onions up there, keeping them a little bit cooler. But of course we've got to make sure we don't block the fan. These white crates are some of our apples, our red apples and our yellow apples. I've got some more that I got to figure out a place. I think I might be able to put them here once these boards are in place to create the wall here for the eating potatoes. Next to the eating potatoes is our seed potatoes. Anything smaller stays up in the animal kitchen in mesh bags, and we are going to boil them up for the pigs. But we don't really need them right now, so they're just sitting out there, but it's not freezing yet. So if I back up, we have a second room here that we go into, and normally we would have all of our onions hanging here. But I realized as we started, because I usually string them up like this, we didn't have the time, so I went ahead and put some in bags like this, but the air doesn't circulate as well. So we'll probably take those down early and cut them up and put them in the freezer. But anyway, you can see there's not much space for the beets to grow, and they'll be pushing in on the onions. But can't put them there this year. So we bought a bunch more crates. We had 20 crates, and we bought 40 more, I think it is. And so we've put all the onions in them. They've got holes in the bottom of the crates and the sides of the crates, so it's going to help the air circulate better. Not quite as good as stringing them up like that, but it's going to have to do this year because all of that's 9 high there, but times 2. And then again, we have all of these up here of onions. And our onion harvest this year was not as good. Our reds always do really good here. The yellows were so-so, and our whites were not good at all. They grow slower, and so they caught more of the rain and started molding. So we've got some upstairs that we're cutting on. These black crates here is our garlic. So all of that is our garlic, and then one more crate up here. And some of them are stored like this, and then others have that cut off and this cut off. So we'll be harvesting or cleaning this one first. So usually I would keep empty jars in here, but I'm switching out my jars from these lids that you have to use a specific tool to press on, and I'm doing more of the screw-on lids because they just seem more secure and they don't pop as much. And I got a couple years in a row I've gotten some bad lids. So anyway, a lot of these jars, along with some other jars, I'm going to be selling. And so this year, our red beets are going to be back in here. So I also had to cut some boards here to fit in this angle iron here, or not angle, corner iron. And this will be filled up because we still have to harvest all of our red beets at home. These are just ones that were sprinkled in that one field, and we've still got quite a bit more to come in here. So I don't expect it to be completely full, but it's going to be pretty full. So we had some jams over there, and I've moved them here, and then double stacked them here. So down here is stuff that we've been given by Metro